Before we get started on building default layouts, we need to get your SVG uploaded into Sonas and assigned to the correct area. So under Venue Documents, you will upload your SVG. Now, an SVG is a vector file. Okay, that means that as you change screen dimensions, device sizes, the ratio of the vertical versus horizontal remains the same. So it has to be a vector file. So something that's produced by like an Illustrator or a CAD program. It needs to be less than 5 megabytes as well to upload. And it should be simple, and all elements must be vector. So if you're including things like a plant or whatever, it needs to get all vector elements. So once you have this uploaded, and here's an example of one right here, we need to put in the correct aspect ratio. Because when Sonas looks at this SVG, Sonas just sees this full white space, okay? Not reading the black lines. So we need to tell Sonas what the full space size is. And then the lines will act as guidance for you and your customers to know where to place tables, where you can't place tables, etc. Now we're lucky in that this one does provide me with the measurements right here on the screen, or otherwise have notes of some critical elements or lengths measurements in your on your SVG. So you can, if you are able to measure it within the program, that's fine too, but let me show you how to measure it or get the aspect ratio once you have it in Sonas. So I'm going to use just a screenshot tool. I'm on a Mac, so it happens to be Command-Shift-4, but you use the tool that you have. And we only need one ratio. So we know that this is 6.35 meters across. So I'm making note of that. 6.35 meters. That equals, and I want to get the pixels. I'm going from the inside of the black line here, and it's 501. So 6.35 meters equals 501 pixels. Now I'm going to measure the distance of the entire horizontal line of the space. 629. So now we have x over 629. So it's basically an equation. So I have 6.35 meters over 501 equals x over 629. So I'm going to pull out my calculator and I'm going to solve for x. I'm just pulling out my handy phone calculator here. And 6.35 times 629 equals divided by 501. So x equals 7.972 meters. And then actually I know that it's going to ask me for it in millimeters. So you just want to move your decimal over a few spots here. And I'm just going to confirm that I get it in the right spot by looking in my conversion app. So my millimeters, moving it over 3. So my millimeters is 7.972 millimeters is my length. So that's going to be the length of the full width of the SVG. So then you're going to go into your areas. We only need one. Sonas will solve for the other with one piece. I've already applied this here, but what you're going to do is you're going to go into your area. You're going to choose the SVG that you're using. And then we're going to give for the width and the depth what we just solved for. So we solved for the width. So we know that this is 7.972. We just solved for that. We don't know the depth, which is going to be the vertical measurement. I'm going to hit save. Is this going to tell me? Well, if it's 7.972, then the height is 7.252. Great. I'm going to copy that and paste it. And then agrees that those numbers work. So we now have the correct aspect ratio. So this is not, so we're using SVGs, so this is not the width and depth of the room, but rather of your document, of that SVG. Again, we look at what that is. It's the white space when we're looking at the SVG. And that's how you do your aspect ratio. Now it's ready to use.